Imagine dealing with 3 years of shoulder pain, seeing 2 physiotherapists, 1 doctor, 1 surgeon, and not having any clear diagnosis or plan to return to weightlifting or to pursue your Muay Thai training ambitions. On top of that, imagine then injuring your back deadlifting and doing hours of research because you no longer trust the medical system, to once again not having a solution for your injuries. This is exactly what happened to Aapo until we started working together, and in today's video, I'm going to reveal to you every single thing that we did to go from 3 years of chronic shoulder pain, 6 months of persistent low back pain, to being fully pain-free and starting Muay Thai training in just 6 weeks. My name is Jack Crucial. I'm an injury rehab consultant who specializes in getting you out of pain and helping you return to peak performance. If these topics interest you, consider subscribing. And as you're watching this video, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, you can book a call with me. The link is in the description of this video. Now, this video will be structured into the following chapters. Chapter 1 is Aapo's injuries and what he tried doing to fix them. Number 2 is his training goals. Number 3 is the step-by-step solution we use for both his shoulder and low back. And 4, the results that we achieved together. Let's first start by learning the details around Aapo's injury.
After perhaps 4 to 5 months of training on a bench press, I injured my shoulder, and it really didn't get better. I went to a physiotherapist, then I went to a doctor, and then I think I went to an orthoped, which then sent me to a shoulder specialist, physio. Gave me some kind of band movements, and the back pain continued, and I was unable to train. We did an X-ray first, nothing was found there. To an ultrasound, and also nothing was really found there. Then the shoulder started really hurting during that trip. So then I went to an MRI, and they also really found nothing during that. I had probably been, after that, perhaps 3 years without training. So that was kind of my first touch of being through the medical system and not really getting very expensive processes, but getting very little results.
Additionally, he suffered with a low back injury from deadlifting.
I went doing deadlift. I somehow lost power at the top and came down very rapidly. And after that, my back started hurting like a lot. And that was something that didn't really go away. In the beginning phase, it's like, okay, it's just an injury, it will go away. But then it really didn't. Now the pain of not being able to train was magnified by double, since in addition to gym training, I really had wanted to start Muay Thai training that year, which then really was not the case, because when I was imagining, doing roundhouse kicks or head kicks, that was completely out of the question.
Now that we know what he tried, what were his primary goals? Firstly, we will start with what we did to rebuild his barbell bench press, so the shoulder injury. 2, we'll then cover what we did to rebuild his deadlift for his low back injury. And 3, we'll then discuss how we developed a durable physique that is capable of handling the brutality of Muay Thai. Let's start with the shoulder using a 4-step process. In order to rebuild his barbell bench press, we started with step 1, giving Aapo a dumbbell floor press. This is for 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is a reduced range of motion through the shoulder. And number 2 is that dumbbells allow him to find a pain-free range of motion. We started at a weight that gave him little to no pain before we progressed to step 2, which is the neutral grip dumbbell press. Still using dumbbells, the neutral grip often feels much better for those that are suffering with shoulder pain due to not flaring the elbows and having more assistance from the triceps. Once we developed this position, we progressed him to step 3 and gave him a standard dumbbell bench press, which over time we added an incline for additional challenge to the shoulder. Whilst we were doing all of this, we worked on the 4 key shoulder patterns, which I'll cover a little bit later and also give you exercise examples for context. The final step was developing his barbell bench press, where he's now able to lift more than ever pain-free. Now, the 4 key shoulder patterns that we built were pushing patterns, both horizontal and vertical, pulling patterns, both horizontal and vertical again, raising patterns, and hangs and carrying patterns. If we get strong in each of these patterns, we not only build a healthy and robust shoulder, but also an impressive physique to match. Let's cover an exercise example for each of these patterns. For pushing patterns, both horizontal and vertical, we have the dumbbell bench press, which we covered earlier, and the half kneeling landmine press overhead in that vertical orientation. Pulling patterns, we have the TRX row for our horizontal pattern and wide grip pull-ups for our vertical pattern. For raising patterns, we have dumbbell incline lateral raises. For hangs and carrying patterns, we have activated dead hangs and dumbbell farmers carries. If you cover all of these bases in your injury recovery program, it's very hard not to win. Now that covers everything for the shoulder. Let's discuss the 6-month low back injury. In order to rebuild his barbell deadlift, we started with dumbbell Romanian deadlifts. The main reason for this is that he was able to go as deep as he feels comfortable using lighter weights, but still practicing a hinging pattern. Once he was comfortable with the Romanian deadlift, we progressed to a trap bar deadlift. I use trap bars a lot with athletes as it places less load on the lower back due to the height of the trap bar handles. This also helped him rebuild his deadlifting confidence before we finally progressed to the barbell deadlift, which he's now lifting heavier weights than he ever has. Not only did we use this progression method, but we also developed the 4 key movement patterns for the spine. I'll now share not only what they are, but exercise examples to clearly demonstrate. The 4 movements are flexion, extension, lateral flexion, and rotation. If we get strong in each of these patterns, we build a robust low back. It is that simple. Exercise examples for each of these patterns for context is for lumbar flexion, you have the decline hip flexor crunches. This is quite an advanced variation that we used. Hip extension, you can use a Bulgarian split squat where you're opening up the front of the hips and hip flexors. Lateral flexion, where you are working a side plank bench pump to work the obliques and side bending action. Rotation, where we use the kettlebell arm bar, where you're getting a 2-in-1 benefit of low back rotation with shoulder stability. It's very hard to lose if you intelligently program all 4 of these movement patterns into your low back injury recovery. Now for the final chapter of this video, how did we build a durable physique that can handle the demands of Muay Thai? Firstly, a lot of what you have already learned covers a lot of the bases of strength and muscle development. However, there are still 3 athletic qualities that are missing. 1, rotational power development. 2, lower body power. And 3, Muay Thai specific skill development. Now let's dive into these 3 qualities in more detail. Rotational power development, a quality that is missing in almost all bodybuilding and powerlifting programs, is rotation. Aapo had never trained Muay Thai, so if he didn't develop these foundations, it'd be more likely to irritate his low back, which is heavily involved in the rotational movement of Muay Thai. The way we did this was using medicine ball throws. You can start with something like a chest pass and then build into shot put throws to really teach yourself to twist with violent intent. We use lighter weights and higher reps to begin with, but then we eventually built into maximal intensity shot put throws. Lower body power. With a sport like Muay Thai, the ability to be powerful is essential for kicks and knees, but even punches. Most of your power is generated from your legs when you punch, which many people don't realize. In order to do this, we use something called plyometrics. We started with low intensity variations, such as pogos, and eventually integrated weighted jumps to not only strengthen his low back, but also the tendons and ligaments of his lower body. Finally, we started learning the art of Muay Thai. The best way to do this is shadowboxing. Heavy bag or pad work is very intense on the body in the earliest stages of an injury, especially for a brand new martial artist. So the idea was to build up his technique before he even joined a Muay Thai gym. Think of shadowboxing as walking and pad and heavy bag rounds as the sprinting equivalent in Muay Thai. If you haven't run in 10 years, you'll probably start with a jog, not an all-out sprint. And this was the final piece of the puzzle that accelerated his progress. And the result, in just 8 weeks, he was able to return to a pain-free barbell bench press. He was able to deadlift off the floor with no low back pain, and he was able to commence Muay Thai training 3 times a week, where now he's training 5 times a week and sparring for 2.
I do in total 5 Muay Thai sessions per week, and that's divided into 3 days. So it's 3 technical sessions and 2 sparring sessions. Managed to solve all the like pain related stuff in like almost a month, maximum 2 months.
Yeah.
And then after that, we just build systems so that hey, I could train hard, I could get results in the gym, but also prepare me for Muay Thai. And that was a sick program. Like I would not definitely be here and be in the shape and athletic condition that I am today without that.
He doesn't just have 1 or 2 rehab exercises, he has a fully customized recovery training protocol tailored to his exact needs. This is what elite level injury recovery should look like. And if you want the same thing, apply using a link in the description to this video. Thank you for watching.